Mhm.
Let's go ahead and let's get into our main topic for the night. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into our review of Toy Story 5. We want to look at the film itself and whether there's still any magic left in this franchise. Before we do, let's go ahead and throw up that spoiler warning.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
All right. So yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and let's jump into this here. Derek, I know you saw the film. What did you think of Toy Story 5?
First of all, let's give a big hello to.
Hey, beloved, how you doing? It's good to see you in the chat.
Yes, indeed. Thanks for being here, beloved. Well, I'll be the first to admit it's not my favorite Toy Story. I'll be the first to admit that. I don't think it's bad. I think, Bob, you had mentioned that this has been getting some pretty harsh press. Or was that mentioned here?
Yeah. I guess you know what? Well, what's over on Critic List right now?
Yeah.
Let me see. If I last saw it, I think it was at 53%.
It was marked as decent, if I'm not
Let's
mistaken.
see. Right now, it's sitting at a 53% over on Critic List as of right now.
Yeah. I thought it was better than that. I think that I'm probably like you, Bob, where if I'm going to start ranking them, 3 is probably my favorite, but 2 and 1 are also extremely, extremely good. It's almost kind of, there you go. I should have put that up. That's absolutely excellent. But I didn't think that 5 was bad at all. I think that they took on something that, even though it might have seemed simple and just in concept, I think it was a little hard to figure out exactly how you were going to put a bow on that at the end of a movie. Because I hate to break it to you, tablets aren't going anywhere. So Lily has to stick around. But then the reason that the lily pad sticks around is because, oh no, you can actually find your friends. You can actually, look at maps and find ways to get to people and then connect that way. And it's like, Lily, that's not what's happening here. Okay. We all know it's not what's happening here. But it's a kid's movie. It's Toy Story. What are you going to do? They have to end it in as nice of a way as possible. So maybe it was kind of a catch-22. But I still think that here are the pros for me in this film. Is the fact that because they do introduce technology with all this, you get some really fun new characters out of it. Smarty Pants is one of I think, the most genius characters I've ever seen in a movie. That's so funny. It's great. For those who don't know, Smarty Pants is a device that helps potty training. So that is where I think it's Conan O'Brien who voices him, actually. And that provides for a lot of entertainment. And then he also has, a couple of friends that tag along with him that are also first-time devices and look like it. So that's a lot of fun. And then the second thing is that, again, this goes back to the catch-22 point. You can't really avoid the notion of tech now either. They're going to have to address this if they were going to do another one at some point. So good that they did, because you weren't going to get around it. And they showed it right. Every kid was what kid isn't doing this right now? In a room, light on, just looking at a screen. That's exactly what they do now. They nailed it. No one's playing. And so I thought that was all very well done in the film, trying to just kind of open up the eyes to, yep, that's what we're all doing now. And then introducing some fun stuff along the way. The cons, like I had mentioned before, were that you can't really, there's no real way you can close a story up like this. It's going to be continuous, and that leaves it undone, or it kind of felt unfinished to me. And then the second point is that this is the one I didn't say. Uh, I feel like Woody and Buzz took the support role. They took the sidekick role in this.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, but they're the stars to me, and I can't see them any other way. That's just me. And if you have any hate mail, send it to Josh. It's fine. But I that's just how I will always view them, and I can't get that out of my head. I'm not angry that another toy got the lead light here, but do you really see them being like sidekicks? I don't. That's just one man's opinion, though.
Right.
What do you think, Rob?
For me, I'd rate this probably a 7 out of 10. I actually enjoyed the film as a whole. I don't think that it's a return to excellence by any means. This is not all of a sudden, we've got the return to, a 90% or whatever, like what the original films were. Like I would definitely say the originals are most excellent, those first three. But this, to me, I mean, it was still an enjoyable film. I think a lot of people are breathing hate into this just where it's unfounded, and I can understand why some of the hate is there. But here's kind of what I thought. First off, I appreciated the story. I did like it better than part 4. But one of the things I appreciated was the fact that it does touch on technology and the importance of kind of separating yourself from that, as well as forming those human connections. And that's important because in the film, they really touch heavily on the fact that Bonnie is kind of enthralled with this lily pad, and she's not able to kind of pull herself away, and she's having trouble making connections. And the lily pad, tries to make friends for her. And through that, you kind of see some of the dangers of social media, in which people's well-being is actually affected because of some of the things that can happen on social media, where the friends start making fun of her, and it goes off on a group chat type thing. And so you can kind of see that, and it touches on that. And so I appreciated that. I felt that the film was more relevant for today than part 4 was. For that reason. Also, I did appreciate the animation. I thought that Pixar has always done a really, really good job when it comes to their animation, and I don't think that this film is any different. I think it's solid, and one of the things I appreciated were the scenes where Bonnie would start playing with the toys, and the animation style changed based on the way that she played with the toys. So I thought that was kind of eye-catching. We've seen that in some of the other films, but I did appreciate that here. Also, I think that people forget that a lot of this was set up with Toy Story 4. Yeah, they didn't know at the time there was going to be another Toy Story, but it was set up. Woody literally takes his star off and puts it on Jessie. Jessie was going to be the main character. It was set up from Toy Story 4 that if they did any future films in the franchise, she was going to be the main character. Also, Bonnie is a different kid. She's not Andy. She's going to have a different set of favorite toys. And so because of that, there's new characters that are highlighted in this film. So I had no problems with Jessie being the main character. I understand why people would have preferred to see Woody and Buzz kind of leading another adventure together, but in this case, they do take a side role, and I was actually okay with that. I understand why people preferred the other, but I was fine with it. Again, I felt that it was set up already that way. And then finally, at the end of the day, I think this was a film that kids could enjoy. They're in the theater where I was at. There were kids that were standing up. They were grabbing the edges of their seats. They were watching what was going on, and they seemed to really be getting into the movie. And for that reason, I think kids are going to enjoy this. I mean, I don't think that this is going to connect with longtime fans. That's very clear by looking over on Criticalist, and we even see some people here in the chat saying it was the last Jedi of Toy Story movies. Michael Moose, you said that, and I understand why a lot of people are saying that, and because I don't think this is going to connect with longtime fans. I think this is going to connect more with a newer generation of fans as opposed to the originals. Because personally, I would have preferred to see Buzz and Woody go on an adventure together. However, I was fine with Jessie being the main character because, again, I do feel like it was set up that way. But that's kind of what I thought. What else you got, Derek?
I don't want to make it sound like I had a problem with Jessie being the main character, because I didn't. I mean, ultimately, I was just more like, oh, well, Buzz and Woody aren't the same that we're. I mean, it's just not the same that we're used to. We'd like to see a little bit more of them, but at the same time, I can't remember who was making this point in the chat, but it was a very good one. I think it was Walter who had said, "Look, they're already established. You know what I mean? Like they have had their time. Hey, there we go."
Hey, Holly, how you doing?
Is that the Holly? I think that is your.
Yes.
Okay, good.
That's the boss.
That's the boss right there. Hello, Holly. A fine employee sitting next to me here. So I like to think that there should be room for something like that, because I do understand that Buzz and Woody are solidified. They're done. They're always going to be a part of, the franchise. I don't know, but it just did seem weird. Maybe it was just because it was the first time that they weren't main characters that it took me off guard, and maybe I should have been more ready for that. It's entirely possible. So that's really all. Again, I think Toy Story may do this better than most Pixar movies do. They do Toy Story in such a clever way every time. They make something really, really fun and really, really interesting about the way that they pull those movies off. Just little details I always pay attention to about the execution in terms of how kids want to play with toys. So this one did just that too. I don't want to make it sound like it didn't. It sure did. And I had zero issue with the money I paid for. I had a good time. I did. That's the truth.
Yeah, part of the one of the criticisms I do have of the film is I think the film played it safe, which is understandable. That they don't want to screw around with their money, but they very much played it safe. And what I mean by that is this has a similar formula that all the other films have. Toy gets lost, has to get back to its owner. Toy is feeling left out, not being played with, and worried that they're going to be left behind or given away, or there's always something like that where they're feeling inadequate because they're not the apple of their owner's eye anymore or whatnot. So yeah, it very much played it safe as far as that goes. They didn't mess with the formula. Again, what I really appreciated was the inclusion of the technology. And in this case, in the film, the toys understand that Bonnie, may not play with them as much, but Jessie does feel that it's important for Bonnie to establish that human connection and have that friendship with somebody. And that's really what the heart of this story is trying to get her to connect with somebody and have that human connection. And as a father, that's something that I can appreciate, especially with my kids when they were younger. Granted, most of them are older now. My youngest is 16, but I thought that was an important message out there, that it's very important to have that human connection.
It is actually a very valuable lesson, not just for kids, but for adults too.
Yeah.
It's not like kids just get obsessed with this stuff. Adults do it all the time. Not to bring it in, but and Bob and I have talked about this extensively with the current political climate that we're in right now. People get obsessed, like really, really obsessed, and take it to places that they just don't need to. Get outside, take a breath, just relax. Don't get that angry. It's not worth it. Good calling here too, beloved.
Absolutely.
Excellent. Yeah. So appreciate the message. That's always a good message. Yeah.
Let me go ahead and let me pull up the critical scores here.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with 88 votes right now, it's sitting at a 53%, a decent score over on Criticlist. And depending on what site you go to, I think Rotten Tomatoes has a lot higher, the audience score. But a lot of our viewers, of course, are with Criticlist, and so we want to try to highlight the scores here. So we got I did score it a 70%. I thought it was a rad film. I had a good time with it. Majestic Lion, 80%. Here's somebody that scored at a 0%. One that 19. Here's another one that's 42. Derek, you gave it a 65.
Yeah.
Here's a 75%. Project Aries, 62%, a rad score. Here's a 50%. 80%. As you can see, the reviews are all over the place. And I'm wondering that if we got into a lot of these reviews, we would find out that the ones that scored it harsher are going to be those longtime fans that have real nostalgia for the films. And again, I understand completely why they would score it that way. I don't have the same feelings towards Toy Story that a lot of people do, even though I think the original three are excellent. Here's another 30%, 20%, an 89%. So a 0, 75%. Again, the scores are all over the place. And so that's kind of where we're sitting at a 53%. So yeah, it's a very mixed film with audiences. It appears, especially amongst fans. At the end of the day, I do think kids, like I said, are going to like this. And if you've got kids, I do think you can take them to this and they would probably enjoy it. But if you're a longtime fan of this, just you even said it, Derek, that you see Woody and Buzz as the main characters. And I can understand why a lot of fans would be like, no. Yeah, I can understand that.
You know what? If there is a 6, I'm curious to see it. Maybe I just got to get used to it, right? I'm not. This is new for me, so I'm kind of on. I mean, they've had, what is it now, 4 movies where they're the main characters, and now it's just a different feel. But I can still be convinced. I did not enjoy this movie, by the way. I gave it a 60. I was a rad score. So maybe I just need another one. To get it into my head and get a little bit more used to it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, I do think they're going to make another film. This is making a lot of money. As long as they keep making these or making money, they're going to keep spitting these films out. Don't be surprised if we see another one that closes up Bonnie's arc. It's
easy. It's easy to do. These are easy. I mean, that's not. I'm making that sound. I make it sound like it's an easy film to make. No, the point being is that it's easy to reinitiate the spark and bring them back, because there's always something you can do with them, which is great. Okay, 7 out of 10.
All right.
Yeah, 4 is too low.
So yeah. All right. So there's our thoughts on Toy Story 5. And like I said, if you got kids, or grandkids or whatever, I think you're good to go ahead and take them to this one, because I do think they'll probably enjoy it.